So this is Pride and Prejudice, and it's originally written by Jane Austen. It's the story of Lizzie Bennet and Mr. Darcy. Near the town of Meryton lived Lizzie Bennet and her four sisters, Jane, Lizzie, Kitty, Lydia, Mary, Mr. Bennet, and Mrs. Bennet. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. One day, two wealthy men moved into town. Mr. Bingley was as charming as he was generous. Mr. Darcy was handsome, but he certainly did not seem very friendly. She is tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me, said Mr. Darcy. I could easily forgive his pride if he had not mortified mine. At the ball, Mr. Darcy flatly refused to dance with Lizzie, even though she had no partner. Not long after the ball, Mr. Collins, heir to the Bennet estate, came for a visit. The silly man proposed to Lizzie. He could offer her a comfortable life, but Lizzie refused. Before I am run away with my feelings on this subject, perhaps it would be advisable for me to state my reasons for marrying. You could not make me happy, said Lizzie, and I am convinced that I am the last woman in the world who could make you so. Mr. Collins said, and now nothing remains for me but to assure you in the most animated language of the violence of my affection. To which Lizzie responded, I wish you very happy and very rich, and by refusing your hand, do all in my power to prevent you from being otherwise. Mrs. Bennet was not happy. When Lizzie's sister Jane got caught in the rain, she arrived for dinner with the Bingleys drenched to the bone and very ill. Lizzie came at once to tend to her, and poor Jane recovered quickly. Mr. Darcy quietly admired Lizzie's kindness, wit, and her fine eyes. One sunny afternoon, Mr. Darcy came calling. He wanted to marry Lizzie, but she thought he was far too proud and unkind. In vain I have struggled. It will not do. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. You could not have made the offer of your hand in any possible way that would have tempted me to accept it. In the spring, Lizzie received a letter with terrible news. Her sister Lydia had run away from home and no one could find her. Here's the letter that Jane wrote to Lizzie. Who searched high and low, day and night, until he found her? Mr. Darcy. Before long, Lydia was home safe and sound. I can no longer help thanking you for your unexampled kindness to my poor sister. I believe I thought only of you, said Mr. Darcy. Lizzie had been so blinded by her first impressions of Mr. Darcy that she could not see the kindness in his heart. And so Lizzie and Mr. Darcy were married. No pride or prejudice keeping them apart. And Mrs. Darcy said, It is settled between us. It is settled between us that we are to be the happiest couple in the world. The end.